Right, so today's job is cutting this native hedge. And when I say native hedge, it means that every species growing is actually a British native species. And that can make it quite a prickly customer. We've got blackthorn and hawthorn in here, which have got pretty vicious spines. In fact, if you get a blackthorn spine in your hand, it can poison you and make you feel pretty grotty. But that's all in a day's work for us. As you can see, a native hedge grows with quite a lot of vigour. It's put on a lot of growth this year alone, which is why you've got to keep on top of it and give it a good annual trim. When it comes to planting a hedge, for me, a native British hedge like this is so the right thing. It's going to do the job for you as far as providing a screen, but it's also going to do such a fantastic job for nature. It's going to provide the perfect place for birds to nest in spring, and it's also going to provide the perfect place for birds to feed over winter. In fact, if I look into the hedge here, I can actually see some nice bright red hawthorn berries. Thrushes and blackbirds are going to love them. They're going to feast on them over winter and keep their bellies full. And then down on the ground, there's actually some hazelnuts, or cob nuts, and they're perfect for the squirrels. Any vertebrates like mice will get in there and munch away on them. And then some of the sloe bushes in this hedge are really exciting because I've actually seen some of the little purple sloes, and I might just be having some of those, taking them home and making some sloe gin. Now, this is a sloe bush. If I have a look in, yep, there's a nice cluster of sloes in there. But joking aside, I would like to make some sloe gin, but this year we had a really hard frost in May and it damaged a lot of the early forming fruits, and as a result there aren't that many sloes on the hedges, so I think I better leave those for the birds. So I talked about how important a native hedge is for nature. Maintaining it's really important as well, otherwise you're not going to have a hedge, you're going to have a forest. As you can see though, with the right kit, you can soon make a lot of progress in a day. Now I just need to crack on and get it finished. Right, well that's the main long run of the hedge done. Got it cut back and looking a lot tidier, and without cutting off any of those vital berries, keep the birds fed over winter. Now the next bit of hedge, it's the last bit, it's not a lot to do, but it's quite a bit trickier because the ground slopes away. Fortunately, I've got my Hendon ladders on board, so I'll be able to get them set up, adjusted to sit nicely on that slope and cut the top nice and safely. So when I was cutting the other side, I was stood on a nice firm pavement and I was a little bit higher. This side of the hedge is actually the ground slopes away, and it's just going to be a bit tricky for me to get up and get my strength behind the machine without something to support my weight. So I've got my Hendon ladders, and as you can see, they're just sloping this way a bit, but that's the beauty of these ladders, because when you start to set them up and put all their safety features in place, all of a sudden your worries about falling off the ladder are no more. Because with these extendable legs, I can put them up nice and upright, and I'll feel safe when I'm up there cutting it now. So there we go, that's the job done. The hedge is all trimmed up and looking neat for another year, and I'm glad I had my tripod ladders with me, which you can get from lovegardening.com. I can't bang on enough about these native hedges though, and hopefully in a video in the future over winter we'll actually plant a native hedge so you can see how it's done, and maybe you'll do the same yourself. If you're enjoying what you're watching, and if you've got any ideas or you'd like any tips, please do not hesitate to get in touch with our media team at lovegardening.com.